topic on global health concerns, we decided to focus on the impact of the environment on our health. This is a growing concern in healthcare, as the things that surround us on a daily basis can have major implications to our health and well-being. Rishi Manchanda, a physician in LA, told a story of a woman named Vanessa in his TED Talk. She was suffering from severe headaches and had been in and out of emergency rooms, and no one could find a diagnosis for her. When she came into his clinic, they asked her the routine questions, but also asked questions like, where do you live and what are your living conditions like? They found out she had mold, water leaks, and cockroaches in her home that were causing her chronic allergies. He referred her to a public health specialist who visited her home and helped her improve her living conditions. A few months later, her symptoms had decreased by 90%. Instead of just treating her symptoms, he took the time to look upstream at the source and the cause of the symptoms, and that's what made a big difference.
As we saw in Vanessa's story, sometimes the best way to solve a problem is actually looking towards the source of the issue. This is why there's been a greater emphasis in the medical field on upstream healthcare. In this presentation, we will cover some of the main examples of environmental impacts on health and how you can be an upstreamist in your career as a nurse.
There are a variety of environmental issues that we're facing today, including unsanitary water sources. So 884 million people actually do not have access to clean water, and this causes many health issues, including cholera, dysentery, hepatitis A, typhoid, and polio. Another issue that we're facing is pollution, where 90% of the world's population is affected by unclean air. This causes respiratory diseases, lung damage, wheezing, and fatigue. Another issue that we're facing that's a global health concern is unsanitary waste disposal. So many developing countries do not have any organized means of controlling solid waste disposal, and this can cause many health issues, including skin disease, eye problems, typhoid, cholera, and intestinal parasites.
Another environmental factor that needs to be considered when looking at health is mold. Mold causes throat irritation, watery and itchy eyes, and dry, scaly skin. 28% of the general population have genes that make them highly susceptible to mold-caused disease. Another factor is climate change. Climate change increases the risk of illness because of increased temperature, more frequent heavy rains, and runoff. It causes gastrointestinal illness, affects the body's nervous and respiratory systems, and can lead to liver damage. Even warming of 2 to 3 degrees Celsius increases the risk of malaria to 150 million people globally. Poverty is another factor that needs to be considered. It is associated with shorter life expectancy, higher infant mortality rates, and higher death rates for the 14 leading causes of death. Poverty increased by 1% over between 2019 and 2020.
A nurse's role in addressing environmental health issues can be conceptualized in a variety of different ways. A nurse doesn't just have to work with treatment, a nurse can work with prevention as well. In an article, it discussed 3 additional jobs of a nurse or healthcare professional. There is the investigator, educator, and advocate. The investigator takes careful environmental health histories and looking for trends in exposure, illness, and injury. And they also go in depth with studies and other research. Educators educate patients and families, and they go about and talk about the adverse effects of exposure to environmental hazards. And then the advocates work with agencies and organizations to help bring knowledge to the public, and then they also have that credibility because they are working with those healthcare professionals and bringing it to the public.
There are a variety of global health issues that we're facing today that we should be aware of as pre-nursing majors, hoping to make a bigger impact in the world.
Thanks for watching!